This is Brighter Morning with Bo. I'm Bo Tiwari, and do we have Superintendent Claire Guy-Alleyne on the line? We don't have her yet. Let's get her on. Yesterday was Eradication of Violence Against Women Day, and it was a worldwide commemoration because women are brutalized in almost every country in which they live, regardless of their social status, regardless of the economic realities of that country, regardless of whether that country is poor or not so poor or wealthy. I mean, it is a problem. This gender issue is a problem. Now, the consequence of that is that not only do you have the brutalization of women, but you also have men behaving in a pretty inhumane way. You have children being affected. You have homes being affected. You have all kinds of social issues emanating from that. And the end result is dysfunctional families. You have murders besides the brutalization. I mean, I don't know how a person can take a cutlass and chop somebody that he is living with and has, affectionate relations with. I mean, it is one thing to get angry, it is one thing to have an outburst, but it's another thing to get to the point of that kind of violence. I mean, there must be some kind of restraint. So I want to talk to Superintendent Claire Guy-Alleyne on the line. And before we do that, we have a caller on the line, so let's let the caller speak.
Good morning, Bo.
Good morning. Hi.
I wonder, tell Alleyne, how a woman a young girl get raped, the papers missing, and then call Alexander Show, and Marlon and them, they play down with a big policeman. A big policeman. They want to deal with the case. The papers missing. The woman calling, she didn't know how to go wrong. It's a step. She said about the year. They reported, they played dog, Alexander them, a policeman who collect a big price. Just tell she I say that. Right? I wish she had to call me, I will tell she about the story. Thank you.
No, but we don't, I couldn't get the information clearly. I got the impression that what you were saying is a policeman perpetrated the crime and you would like her to know. If you do that, maybe you can call again and talk to the person who answers the line here and give him the information of what is the number to call, what are the facts, and when Superintendent Guy-Alleyne is here, we will talk with her and we will WhatsApp her the information so she can investigate or pursue the matter, okay? No sense complaining without results. Okay, let's try and get something done. She's on? Okay, Superintendent Claire Guy-Alleyne, let's talk with her. Morning, how are you?
Pleasant good morning to you and the entire nation and all your listening public. I am fine.
Yeah, you look bright this morning, bright as brighter morning.
Thank you. I'm wearing my little orange the world.
Thank you for being on the program this morning. I know that we are going to be dealing here with a difficult and disturbing topic, but I think we need to bring it out. What is happening in Trinidad and Tobago from where you sit, because you would get the information of reports and so on. What is happening in Trinidad and Tobago with regard to violence against women and the brutalization of women in this country?
Well, what we see happening is that domestic violence is happening, and some of the reasons why it is happening, it's so trivial. For example, persons who are in intimate relationships, you will find that sometimes there are trust issues. There are sometimes, a little, like persons have no patience. Some persons have no love in their heart. For example, you will see one of the parties would be in the kitchen cooking. Another party may come into the kitchen, and, just because that person is in their way, they may just cuff that person for no reason whatsoever. Normal people don't do those kinds of things. So, what you see happening also is that mental health may be an issue as well. And we are asking persons, once you recognize that you have an issue, seek help. Violence is not the answer to any conflict.
All right, let's talk about that a little bit. You're saying that some of these things, I mean, cannot be explained. All right, if there's a trust issue between a man and a woman, you can talk it out.
Thank you.
It seems to me that would be the way to go. If there is a problem, you walk into the kitchen and you have your wife or the person you're living with in the kitchen and she's in the way. I mean, you basically ask her to, okay, can you give me a chance or can you move, please? Why would you cuff her down? I mean, I don't understand
Yes.
it. And so you raise the question of mental health. What is happening to men in the country that makes them behave like that, you think? Now, I know that you are not giving a clinical answer here, but you are giving an experiential answer based on the cases that you see.
Men, we have to start a culture, our little boys and our little girls, teach them how to socialize with each other. There is where it starts. For example, on a Sunday, the mom will take the girl into the kitchen. She will teach the girl how to cook. She's going to teach the girl how to clean. She's going to teach the girl how to iron, how to keep a home. And where is the brother or the boy child? He may be down the road. They don't even know where he is, and they could not have been bothered. We have to stop that kind of behavior. We have to culture our boys and girls, let them know how to correlate, let them know if there's conflict, how to solve conflict. We have a way sometimes. I remember when I was younger, which was recently anyway, boys, a boy may be very unkind to a girl. And you would hear adults saying, he treats you like that because he likes you. Do people ill treat things or persons that they love? And that is the kind of thing. We have to show what is love because children practice what they see. Children mirror the behavior that is displayed before them. So we have to mirror the way and model the way that we want our children to go. We have to teach our children what love looks like and how do you love people.
Is there a problem of the way we socialize boys in the home, the household, and secondly in the community in terms of expectations and excuses for the boys? For instance, you mentioned that boys have very little responsibility in the home. They hardly share in any household responsibilities or chores. They hardly take responsibility. And that has implications later on, as I have seen it, because I've taught in a business school and so on. That has implications for managerial capacity later on.
Yes,
Women
it does.
become better managers because they have been cultivated to take responsibility and to make decisions about what to do and how to do it in the home. boys do not address that until they get a university degree or until they get a job. And they now have to learn how to do that because they have never done it in their life. They don't look after their clothes. They don't do anything. So is there a problem of the socialization of males, first of all, in the home and the family? And secondly, outside too, are we too, do we have the wrong attitude about how we deal with adolescent boys and their behavior in the society outside?
Yes, it appears as though, there are some issues where that is concerned. And more so now in our modern life, you are seeing where some parents, they are actually teaching their boys how to do chores and they're giving them responsibility. But we must be more intentional in our actions as parents. Be intentional. When parenting is a serious business. We have seen where society has gone away from where the village raises the child. If your child is doing something wrong and the neighbor speaks to that child, a parent gets annoyed. They want nobody to tell their child anything. We have to move away from that. If you see something, you say something. We have the child protection unit within the TTPS. We have the gender based violence unit where you can come and you can seek out help for your children. What I've noticed also, Mr. Tiwari, is that there's an increase of parents taking their children before the courts for being uncontrollable. How can you make a child, and when what went wrong till that child is now uncontrollable? You can't control him or her.
Yeah. How does that break down at that level, you think? What happens? Is it too much leeway, too much freedom, too much indulgence? Is there too little parental care, guidance, time spent, or what?
There are a lot of issues. For example, we live in a society that is very busy these days. So, it's sad because with the pandemic now, a lot of persons depended on the school to be like a babysitter for them during
Yes.
the day. We no longer have that happening. So one could just imagine the pressures at home, and the assistance that parents do not have. Parents need to be more responsible in their parenting. Be responsible. There's no book telling you how to be a parent.
Yeah, you have to
There's no
learn.
book. There's the community policing that you could, you can use that intervention of the community policing to assist you.
All right. So, I mean, if we have to fix the problem of violence against women, we have to find a way of fixing the boys then. Is that correct?
We have to fix boys and fix girls as well
Okay, well, tell me
when it
about
comes to
that.
domestic violence.
Tell me about the girls. What do we have to fix in the girls?
We have to, like I said before, we have to look at the way we culture our boys and our girls. We teach them because conflict would always come. But you teach them that violence is never the key. Because let me tell you something, we have victims that are males as well. Some of our males are suffering in silence. And I would like to use this platform to inform any male who is a victim of domestic violence, do not be ashamed to seek help. Call. There is a barrage of places that you can seek help. The gender-based violence unit, community policing, families in action. You have a lot of NGOs like the Coalition Against Domestic Violence. You have Women of Substance in Tobago. You have all these people who are here to help. Seek help.
All right, tell me something. In the violence against men, is it that the woman would be aggressive and the man would not want to respond aggressively and therefore they take it? Is that how it turns out? That's like
We have seen
a reverse situation then.
Yes, we have actually seen that. When we look at some of our male victims, you could see that these male were well cultured because the woman is going to push him, push him, push him, or the woman is just going to, be very aggressive towards him, and he would be so peaceful,
Yeah,
and thank God for that because you remember, society have men as the stronger being,
yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Okay, let's deal. What kind of cases you have of violence? You've mentioned some simple ones where the wife or the partner is beaten, or cuffed down or abused in some way. But what kind of cases come to you on a regular basis? You said some of them are simple things, but what are some of the deeper problems that we have in the home, in domestic violence and violence against women?
When we look at some of the offenses coming before the TTPS, we see offenses such as breach of protection orders. We also see assault by beating. So that is the punching, the kicking, the cuffing, the spitting, the cutting of the hair, and all those things. When you cut, some persons have beautiful hair, and when a spouse would cut the hair, that is assault occasioning actual bodily harm.
Yes.
We also have where broken limbs may take place, actual bodily harm as well. We have malicious wounding. We have wounding with intent. We also have choking. And that choking really hurts my heart because if someone can watch you as a human, put his hands around your neck and choke you, and that is someone that you love, and you are trying to snuff the life out of that person, that is really, really sad. I'm pleading with people, try to stay away from that kind of life. It's not nice. It breaks away to the fabric of society. Everyone is affected when domestic violence happens. The community, the victim or the survivor herself or himself, the children, it affects everyone. And when violence occurs in the presence of children, you are actually committing an offense under the Children Act that we call cruelty. You are exposing children to violence. And that is an offense in itself.
In your experience, what it is that keeps a woman in a situation that is abusive? If the man is abusing the woman all the time, beating her up and whatever, what is it that keeps the woman in that relationship? I know that sometimes it's the fact that they have children together. It may be that they want to try, no matter how difficult it is, to keep the home and the family together. But, is it also like economic needs or what?
Doctor, I love that question because everyday persons ask themselves that question. And I'm happy that you asked that because persons need to understand a domestic violence victim or survivor. Far too often, family members turn their back on domestic violence survivors and victims. You would hear families saying, I am tired of telling her or him to leave. You know, victims and survivors would leave when they develop in their mind that it's time to leave. We just have to encourage them and let them understand that this situation is not good and only bad can come out of this situation. But you cannot grab them by the neck. You'll be committing another offense. You grab them by the neck and tell them, hey, get out of that relationship. You just have to be the support network for them. Do not turn your back on your families. Victims or survivors stay for many reasons, emotional reasons, financial reasons as well. Remember, in domestic relationships, love is there. This is
Yes,
someone that you love, whether it's a
yes.
spouse, a cousin, a family member, you love that person. And all you want is for that violence to stop. And sometimes you tell yourself you can change that person. Trust me, you can't change people. You can change your actions to what they're doing. You cannot change that individual. That person to want to change, that person has to seek help.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to have to break now for a commercial break. But I want to ask you this question. You could reflect on it. And when we come back, we will engage it. We're talking a lot now about what happens in the home. And we talk about familial situation or personal relations between a male and a female, etc. And you have a situation, we also talked about the fact that the socialization of the males as well as the socialization of the female and good parenting, etc., are important. But I want to get a little bit to what you are seeing about behavior between adolescent boys and adolescent girls in the school system. And I want to know if that is coming to your attention and what is coming to your attention. So we take a break now for commercial break. And when we come back, we will continue the discussion with Superintendent Claire Guy-Alleyne of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. This is Brighter Morning with Bo, and I am Bo Tiwari.
Welcome to Lifetime Solutions, where you can trust your roof to us. Our services include custom fabrication, steel framing, roofing installation, on-site roll forming, roofing maintenance and services. Call 223-ROOF or 223-7663 for a quote today or visit our website www.lifetimesolutionstt.com. Lifetime Solutions. You can trust your roof to us. Call 223-ROOF or 223-7663 for a quote today or visit our website www.lifetimesolutionstt.com.
As businesses adapt to the new normal, let Magic Mist take care of your cleaning and sanitization needs with our COVID-19 BSCAI internationally certified technicians. With over 43 years of protecting the health of our nation, you can trust us to ensure your building remains safe, healthy, and functional. Give us a call today at 638-6675 or 332-5522. Magic Mist Services Limited, your total facilities management solutions provider.
I am Boxer Potts, and you are?
I am the host of our talk. You refer to me as Mr. Zaid Mohammed.
Join us Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on Hard Talk, Hard Facts, Hard Hitting, not politically soft like my brethren in this side here.
And that is old talk, not hard talk.
Welcome back. This is Brighter Morning with Bo. I am Bo Tiwari, your host, and we are talking to Superintendent Claire Guy-Alleyne. And I asked her a question before the break, which is what's happening in the schools with our adolescent boys and girls, and is she in the gender unit and of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service seeing anything that can explain what is happening? Yeah.
We go back again to parenting, paying attention, being aware of what your children are doing. We have too many children that are appearing before the children court for criminal acts. We also have children appearing before the court as children in need of supervision. Those are what we actually call chins. We have children, a lot of young girls who are running away from home, and that's a dangerous thing. And I want to plead with the public and the young ladies, be careful with that. Stop running away from home. When you run away from home, you expose yourself and you make yourself an easy target for criminal acts, for gang rapes. You can be robbed. You can be kidnapped. You can be trafficked. It's a dangerous thing. All is well when everything, goes well and the child is found or, return home. But your chances is very, very slim. So we are begging parents, you have to pay attention, know where your children are, who your children are interacting with. And then we have this device where persons are meeting persons online, and we have persons looking persons to meet them else.
What's happening there with the internet? I don't know if you can hear me, Superintendent, but it's the internet on your side, the Wi-Fi on your side. You okay? You can hear now?
I'm hearing you.
Right, go ahead, talk now. We're back.
Right. Okay, I wonder how far, but you missed everything I said?
No, you're talking about the parenting issue and the supervision issue. And
yes,
the fact that young girls, they really become badly exposed and vulnerable when they leave home, etc.
Yes, and it's dangerous.
Let me ask something. Why is it that there is this kind of breakdown in the family between young adults and children and the parents? What is it that's happening in the home? Because ultimately, that affects the kind of female you get and the kind of male you get, and the cycle of what can I say, this dysfunctionality that continues. What is it that's happening in the home from what you see?
From what we see is parenting skills. Parents need to develop more skills to be able to interact and parent children in these modern times.
All right. Should we have some kind of system? I'm not big on legislation and so on for things like these interfering in people's personal lives, but should we have a system where if a couple is getting married or going to live together or something like that, should we have a situation in which there is a kind of class or program that they have to go into in which they can raise issues and talk out issues, and people can talk about these issues of people living together and relationships and parenting issues, etc. Would that help so that there's a socialization process from being an individual to being somebody who lives with another individual in some kind of relationship of affection and love and compatibility, etc. Should we have that? Hello? Okay, are you back?
I'm back. I'm now hearing you. I lost you for a second.
Yeah. Did you hear my question though?
I heard part of it.
Well,
you're
the thing
asking
is, should we socialize these people by having a kind of education developmental program before people come into relationships of whatever kind. You know, and
Doctor,
without discrimination, whatever relationships
yes.
you bring. Yeah.
Doctor, you could not have said it better. And I am thinking, I remember at one time in the school curriculum, I'm not sure if it's still there, they had family education. That was an excellent, subject within the school curriculum, family education. It shows you, how to operate within a family network, be it as brother and sister, husband or wife. It shows you that kind of relationship skills that you could develop to correlate and to be able to live with each other. So we need to look at the school curriculum. We could bring it into the school curriculum. We also have the community policing within the TTPS. They have a range of activities that they are involved in for the child development throughout life. There's skills training within the community policing, and there's actually community policing in every community.
Okay. Is what we are talking about dependent on economic condition or social status, or is it more prevalent among people of low economic means, or is there a kind of sociological factor here, or is this happening across the board regardless of social status or economic status, in which the breakdown of family, violence in the home, violence against the female, abuse of the male, depending on the situation, is a factor? Does it cross all lines, or do we find concentrations?
We have seen domestic violence crossing all lines. Domestic violence doesn't have a face. It doesn't affect it doesn't matter your economic status. It doesn't matter your sex. We have seen domestic violence being affecting the victims are a range of persons from different culture, different socio background, everything. So it affects different people. It doesn't have a face at all.
I want to understand this issue of violence. I am amazed at the extent to which the culture of violence has spread so rapidly in Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, a fella driving a car, you give him a bad drive, a man could pick up a gun and shoot you through the window. You get vexed with somebody, you take a big piece of iron and you hit him with it, because you're vexed and you want to teach him a lesson. And the culture of violence is I find very pervasive. Sometimes when you are dealing with people, if a person gets on aggressive to you, you want to be careful not to engage that person, because you don't know where it will lead. Because that person might tell you something, you tell him something else, he might go in his pocket and pull out a gun and shoot you. And this culture of violence, this kind of laxity of behavior, the fact that people feel that they could do these things and get away with it. How did we get here?
And it is sad. It is very, very sad. Very. And you could not have said it better. Domestic violence is pervasive. And it's not only pervasive in Trinidad and Tobago, it's pervasive globally. It's a breach of one's human rights. It's a breach of your human rights as well. And it's really, really, really sad. We really need to teach people how to deal with conflict. That's one of the main issues that we have. How to handle conflict resolution. It is critical.
You think it's important to have that in the school curriculum?
It will be excellent, because we need to start it from a very tender age, the kindergarten, come right up to secondary and tertiary education. We really need it. And when adults behave in that way, what do we expect from our children?
Yes,
Because you speak about the road rage.
Yeah.
And A child could be in the vehicle and seeing their parent behaving like that.
So the bad example of adults is part of the problem then.
Of
All right?
course.
I want to ask you one final question. It has to do with the fact that we have so many Venezuelans in Trinidad. Are we seeing a problem within that immigrant community as bad as our own national community? Or is it different or what? And secondly, do people come to you from the Venezuelan community with problems of human trafficking?
Well, we have a human trafficking unit within the TTPS, so they would be better to answer that part with the trafficking issues. But what I can tell you at the gender based violence unit and the child protection unit, the special victims department, we have seen where survivors and victims within that community, they come to us for help. They are sexually abused in Trinidad. They are being physically abused as well.
Okay. And is this because, does this happen with Venezuelan women who have partners who are Venezuelans, or partners who are Trinidadians, or both?
Both. We have it happening both.
All
Both.
right. So it's not a cultural phenomenon, it's a male-female phenomenon.
Male female, human
Human
phenomenon. Yes.
Superintendent Guy-Alleyne, I want to thank you so much for agreeing to be here this morning. I will continue this discussion next week because this issue of violence against women is a terrible thing, and I don't think we can just set aside a day for it and have one discussion about it. So I'll have another discussion next week, but I want to thank you very much because of the perspective you bring from law enforcement. You see the things coming to you, and a person would have to be in a fairly extreme position to go to the police. And therefore it gives us a good view of what is happening in the communities. And I think that you said some important things today, that this is across what you might call sociological lines, economic lines, cultural lines in Trinidad and Tobago. It happens all the time. It is a phenomenon here as bad as it is elsewhere. And we've got to socialize our children to deal with the problem. Thank you very much. This is Brighter Morning with Bo. We break now for the news with Andrew Chan.